Hello, we are so excited you're joining us today. We are going to be making some delicious pumpkin treats. Are y'all excited?
Yeah.
Yes. It is that season where everybody's got pumpkins in their garden, but don't turn this off if you don't have pumpkins. Any of these recipes can be done with canned pumpkin, or you can just go buy a pumpkin from the store. That's totally fine. Today we're gonna walk through how to make a puree out of your pumpkin so that you can bake whatever you want with it. We're going to roast pumpkin seeds, we're gonna make pumpkin bread, we're gonna make some other pumpkin treats. It's gonna be such a fun day. So we are so excited for you to join us. So the first step we wanna do with our pumpkins to make our pumpkin puree is we're gonna chop the top off of the pumpkins, and then we're going to cut them up, scoop out the seeds and put them here, and we're gonna lay our pumpkin pieces on the trays. Let's get started. Now we need to stick the pumpkin slices in at 350 for 45 minutes. All right, Makayla, are you ready? So we are gonna deal with the seeds now, and you know, they have the pumpkin goop stuck to them, so we've been soaking them in water for about an hour, and that just helps release the seeds and make it a lot easier to clean out. We are gonna boil the seeds for 10 minutes before we bake them. That just helps them cook more evenly when they're baked. So let's go ahead and get them in this pot. We're going to pull them and make sure they're nice and clean and put them in here. Okay, MJ, you wanna help? Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna put a little bit of salt in here.
My favorite kind of salt.
Oh, she loves the pink salt. And we're gonna cover these seeds with water. Now we're gonna set this to boil for about 10 minutes. This just helps permeate the shells a little bit, so when we put them in to bake, they'll bake a lot more evenly. We'll see you back here in a minute when we are done boiling. Our pumpkin seeds have boiled for 10 minutes, and we have drained them with the strainer, and now we're gonna lay them flat, because the thing we wanna do before they go in the oven to bake is we wanna make sure they're completely dry, because they won't get quite as crispy and delicious if they're kind of wet and soggy. So we'll set these to dry for a little bit. All right, we're gonna set these to the side, and our pumpkin is out of the oven, and we are going to get it mixed up into a puree. We've got our pumpkin, it's been roasted. Now we're gonna just take it and look at this. The skin peels right off. And we're gonna put it in our food processor. All right, let's get started, girls.
Okay, so we're gonna do this in little batches at a time. I'm going to puree it and then pour it into this bowl. Okay, some pumpkins are more or less dry than others. Some are going to be moist enough that you'll have to drain some off. This one in particular is a little bit more dry, so to puree it, we're going to add some water to it. All right, let's finish up the rest.
So this pumpkin bread recipe is my brother-in-law's absolute favorite. So this one's for you, Brett. We're gonna start with 5 eggs. We want to whisk those together really well. Then we're going to add 1.25 cups of oil. And don't worry, I will post this recipe in the description below so you don't have to be frantically writing it down as we go. Now this is going to call for 15 ounces of pumpkin puree. If you're using a can, it's just 1 can. Most cans are 15 ounces. But since we made our own pumpkin puree, 15 ounces is a little less than 2 cups. And now we just want to beat this until it's nice and smooth. Then I'm going to add 2 cups of sugar. Two cups of flour. 2 3-ounce package of instant pudding mix. A teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and finally 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's pretty much all there is. Now we're just gonna mix it up real good. It smells delicious. It smells like fall. Now I'm gonna bake these in mini loaf pans. You can bake them in full-size loaf pans, that's just fine. But I'm gonna spray these. The only difference in doing it in a bigger pan is you probably are going to want to cook it for a little longer and just make sure it's cooked all the way through. All right, I do have enough, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do also a loaf pan. It might be a squatty loaf, but make sure we use all of it. Now I'm going to put them in the oven at 325 degrees for about 45 to 50 minutes for these, and probably 55 to an hour for this one. But I am going to check frequently because this is a shorter loaf than normal, so I'm going to keep checking it when I put these in. While we're sitting around doing nothing, waiting on that bread to bake, Taylor's going to come show you how to make some pumpkin ice cream.
Okay, so now we're going to be making pumpkin ice cream. So the first thing that we're going to do, we have prepped our ice cream maker, and overnight we left this bowl in the freezer to freeze. So now we're going to mix up all of our ingredients. So the first thing we're going to need is 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. So and then we need 1.5 cups of our pumpkin puree that we made. All right, mix that up. Next, we're going to need 1 cup of brown sugar. Next, we're going to need a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and a teaspoon of ground ginger. A teaspoon of vanilla extract. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves. So it is all mixed up, and now we are going to freeze it. All right, so to get this in the ice cream maker, we're going to first just turn it on. It's gonna start going. And I have transferred the ice cream maker, the ice cream mixture into a bowl that can pour easier. So as it is going, I'm just going to slowly pour it in. And this should go for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to check on it. And hopefully we will have some ice cream.
Say in the microphone, it has been about 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
It has been about 30 minutes. All right, this looks good, so we can turn it off. And now we can taste a little bit of it. It's pretty good. It tastes like ice cream.
That was really good.
So now when we store it, we're not going to store it in the ice cream bowl. We're going to save it in a freezer safe container. So we are just going to put this in this bowl and we will keep it in the deep freeze. All right, that is our ice cream, and now we can just store it in the deep freeze for whenever we want to get it out and eat it.
Okay, our oven is free. Look at our beautiful bread. It smells so good. We may or may not have pulled off a little corner and taste tested it, and it was delicious. So now we're gonna get our seeds ready to go. I'm gonna pour these in a bowl so we can toss them with a couple of tablespoons of butter and a little bit of salt. All right, we're just gonna toss that. And then we wanna lay them out on the baking dish, but we wanna go ahead and make sure that they're just a single layer. All right, now that we have these ready to go, we're gonna put them in the oven at 300 degrees for 45 minutes.
So I'm going to show you how to make 2 pumpkin milkshakes. We will put the exact recipe down below. So first we are going to add half a cup of pumpkin puree. So my audio cut out and I don't know where, so I'm just gonna tell you what we did because I don't know when it cut out. We put in 1/4 cup of milk and half a cup of pumpkin puree and 1 whole chopped frozen banana. There's our banana. 1.5 cups of frozen yogurt or vanilla ice cream. Well, vanilla frozen yogurt or vanilla ice cream, whatever we have on hand. Teaspoon of pumpkin spice. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Right? And I am just going to crumble up 1 little sheet of graham crackers. Just gonna sprinkle those in. Now we're just gonna blend it until it is smooth. And our blender. Snap that down. Make sure it's secure. And we are just going to click smoothie and let it go. So that is about good for our shake. And so now we are going to add a tablespoon of milk. All right, and we're just gonna do it for about 15 seconds. Make sure that's in there good. So that's good. There we go. So I have these fancy cups that my uncle etched in our BH for us. We're just gonna pour it in there. Add some whipped cream and crumble 4 graham crackers on top. Great.
Too late now, she licked the spoon.
There's one for me and one for my sister. Hey Taylor, you want one? Thanks.
It has been such a fun day of baking and mixing and making all sorts of fun treats with our pumpkins. Our pumpkin seeds are out of the oven, ready to go. We've got pumpkin ice cream. We've got pumpkin bread. We've got pumpkin milkshakes that apparently I don't get to try. And y'all, look how much pumpkin puree we have left. We're gonna freeze this in 2-cup bags. That way we can pull it out and make whatever we want throughout the year. But this should be plenty to last us the year. We're so thankful that you have joined us. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to check out this video over here where Makayla shows you how to make some sweet treats with zucchini. If you got some value out of this, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us.